Hey everyone. Yeah, it's me, the guy who usually sits on the couch and makes bad decisions. But today I'm doing something different. This is a brand new series where I talk about historical events, real ones, with facts. Probably. And today we're talking about one of the most mysterious and creepy figures in criminal history, Jack the Ripper. So let's travel back to London, 1888. Imagine fog everywhere, not the cool Halloween fog. I'm talking thick, wet, you can't see your own mustache fog. Gas lamps flickering in narrow streets, horse carriages rolling over cobblestones, people in long coats and tall hats walking around like they're all late for a dramatic monologue. The area we're focusing on is called Whitechapel. It was one of the unemployment. It wasn't exactly the kind of place you'd want to take your family for a vacation. Life there was hard, and because of that, the streets were busy even late at night. And then, something changed. In 1888, a series of brutal murders shocked the entire city. Several women were killed in the Whitechapel area. The crimes were violent, and the way they were carried out suggested the killer had some knowledge of anatomy. A butcher? Someone pretending to be both? The newspapers went wild. And I mean wild. Headlines were dramatic. Stories were exaggerated. Fear spread quickly. People were scared to walk alone at night. Rumors were everywhere. And in the middle of all this chaos, the killer got a name: Jack the Ripper. Now here's the thing. That name didn't come from the police. It supposedly came from letters sent to newspapers, written by someone claiming to be the killer. Some historians believe those letters were fake, written by journalists trying to sell more papers, which, honestly, sounds like something the media would do. Even back then, drama sold. The police were under massive pressure. London was one of the biggest cities in the world, and suddenly there was a killer no one could catch. Detectives interviewed hundreds of people. They followed leads. They created suspect lists. But forensic science in 1888 was, let's just say, it wasn't great. No DNA testing. No fingerprint databases like today. Investigations relied heavily on witnesses and physical clues found at the scene. And the problem? The killer left very little behind. The murders happened quickly and in dark areas. Witness descriptions were inconsistent. One person would say the suspect looked calm and well-dressed. Another would describe someone rough and nervous. It was like trying to identify someone based on a blurry memory in heavy fog. 5 victims are generally considered the canonical 5, meaning historians widely agree those 5 murders were committed by the same person. But even that isn't 100% certain. Some researchers argue there may have been more victims. Others think fewer. What makes this case so fascinating isn't just the crimes themselves. It's the mystery. Over 130 years later, people are still trying to figure out who Jack the Ripper really was. There have been countless theories. Some say he was a local doctor. Others believe he was a member of the royal family, which sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy documentary. There are theories involving artists, barbers, immigrants, and even random suspects who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Books have been written. Movies have been made. Documentaries keep appearing. Every few years, someone claims, "We've finally solved it." And then a week later, another expert says, "Actually, no." What's interesting is how this case changed the world. The fear created by these murders led to major discussions about policing, urban poverty, and public safety. The media frenzy showed the power newspapers had over public opinion. In many ways, Jack the Ripper became one of the first modern media-created criminals, a name that spread globally through headlines. And think about this. The killer was never officially caught. No trial. No confession that was proven. Just theories. That uncertainty is what keeps the story alive. But here's something important. Behind the mystery and the legend were real people. Real victims. Real families. It's easy to focus on the mystery of the killer, but history also reminds us that these were human lives lost. Over time, the legend of Jack the Ripper grew bigger than the facts. He became almost like a shadow figure in popular culture, mysterious, intelligent, untouchable. But in reality, what happened in Whitechapel was tragic and terrifying for the people who lived there. Today, historians still examine old documents, letters, and evidence. Modern forensic techniques have even been used to analyze preserved materials connected to the case. But even with advanced science, there's still no definitive answer that everyone agrees on. And maybe that's why this story refuses to disappear. Humans are drawn to unsolved mysteries. We want closure. We want answers. When we don't get them, the story keeps living, generation after generation. So what can we learn from all this? First, history isn't just about kings and wars. It's also about social conditions, media influence, fear, and how societies respond to crisis. Second, technology matters. The tools available to investigators can change everything. If this case had happened today, it might have been solved in days. Or maybe not, but the chances would have been very different. And finally, sometimes the mystery is what makes a story powerful. Not knowing forces people to keep asking questions. So yeah, that's today's historical deep dive. A foggy London, a shadowy figure, and a mystery that refuses to fade. If you liked this new format, where a regular guy who should probably still be on the couch talks about serious historical events, let me know. Because next time, we might dive into another unsolved mystery. Or maybe a wild historical event that sounds fake but isn't. History is weird. Humans are weirder. And sometimes the past is scarier than fiction. See you in the next episode.